AtGames Schedule, New Wave Toys delays, think Up Layoffs, and why I think A1Up should bring back black. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Another episode of This Week, the show where we talk about what happened this week in home arcades. What is going on, everybody? Episode 141. So glad to see you. We took last week off for Easter. Hope everybody had a great time to spend with family. And if you celebrate, go to church, spend time with your brothers and sisters, rocking that great, awesome holiday. Yeah, a lot to consider, a lot going on. My weekend, I don't know about yours. My weekend had the potential to be a slacker weekend, nothing going on. The wife left on a girl's vacation, little weekend. Me and my youngest son. It turned out to be one of the most busy weekends I've had in my life. We didn't use any dishes, though. I think we ate out every single meal. What can you do? But so I got a lot of stuff done. If you don't know what I've been into, follow me on Instagram. I got a lot of pictures up there of Star Wars Trilogy. Will I sell it? Won't I sell it? Where's it at? What's going on? Check out my Instagram page. You can check out and see some pictures. This thing, I'm really excited about the project. I'm also excited about my indecision about the project. Okay, so what are you drinking tonight? We're back with the Jeffersons. I got my glass of Jeffersons ready to go. Hope everybody is kicking back and enjoying a beverage. My son has also got spring break. Yes, it's 2024 spring break already. Spring has almost sprung here in the Cincinnati area. Hopefully it has sprung where you are. I don't know. Maybe I'm saying it weird. It's probably not a good thing to say. Let's go ahead and take a drink. Everybody, cheers, and welcome back to the show. Okay, so I know what I'm drinking. You hopefully know what you're drinking. If not, put it down, pour it out, and pour you something that you do know. Or maybe ask somebody, what is this? You should know what you're doing. Avoid a bad situation. So we got to talk about something else we talk about every single week, and that is the poll question. Every single week in the chat, we have a poll question. This one is this one's a lot of fun. Let me know what you think is actually going to happen first. What will happen first? Either the AtGames Killer Instinct 4KP will ship, or New Wave Toys Zoltar will ship, or OneUp will release a new game. What are those three? What's going to happen first? At this point, I don't know. If you don't know all the context, if you don't know what we're talking about, don't worry. We're going to cover all that, well, most of it, in the show tonight. Hope everybody's having a great time. It's episode 141. I'm excited. Let's continue on with the conversation. And conversations are boring when they're had just, with yourself. So let's talk about the people that are high in the chat. Let's talk to the first 10 people. The top 10, not the top 10. The first 10 comments of the night. Starting off with Sir Sega saying, "Yo, Fox, how you doing, man? Great to see you. Looking forward to the show tonight. I hope all is well. I'm eagerly waiting for my Nova Blast shipping notification." Absolutely. Coming in number 2 is Game Broker 84. Hi, Fox. Happy Sunday. Glad to have this week's show back. Hope you had a good. It continues on Easter. What skin is it going to take to get you to buy a 4K pinball from AtGames? I've talked about this before. Something like a universal pack. Something. Not necessarily Jaws. I think Back to the Future is absolutely a day one pre-order. I'm going to get that one. Aliens, the movie Aliens would be great. Alien Predator. That's kind of my thing. But honestly, I don't know. Seeing that release of the Universal TV shows game pack, the Zen Studios games, and seeing Knight Rider, I would absolutely. Okay, I know it's not going to happen, so I'll just say it, and I know that there's absolutely no downside to this scenario. If you make a Knight Rider 4KP, if that thing is skinned for Knight Rider, count me in. I am all about it. That was the show when I was a kid. That car, I still to this day, I think that car is so cool. And listen, David Hasselhoff, is the coolest ever. Sometimes, but yeah, that is something that I saw, and I'm like, you know what? That could be a really sick looking table. I mean, like blacked out with the red scanner going back and forth, blacked out with red highlights. Just having Knight Rider on it would be awesome. And I'm thinking about the topper. The topper would be like Kit doing a turbo boost, an explosion behind him or something, jumping over a semi. That would be incredible, because I'm just a big old damn nerd. Bob is here. How the hell are you doing, buddy? Glad to see that your arcades survived the flood. Basement floods are no joke, kids. Get everything up on a riser, on a plastic spacer of some sort. Save your investment for sure. Coming in number 4 is Frank D. What's going on, buddy? Great to see you, man. Working on some overtime this afternoon. Good. Awesome. Gonna break out the Basil Hayden tonight. Absolutely. Get your little overtime, man. Get it while you can. A little extra money, pay off some bills, or maybe, I don't know, buy something you don't need, like some of these arcades behind me. It's a great day. I mean, no, it's just a ton of fun. Coming in at number 5 is JR. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. Hi, everyone. Hi to you as well. Shannon Zahn, great to see you, man. Coming in at number 6. Hi, Fox. Finally made the top 10. Yes, you did. Looking forward to another great show. So glad to have you here, man. Great to see you. Coming in at number 7 is Vic Vicious 75. Evening, Fox and friends. That's right. Evening, Fox and friends. Jason Lillian, moderating like a mofo. As always, thank you so much for being here, buddy. May not be the first message, but I'm the first like. Everybody, that's a reminder. Smash the like button. Hope you're feeling healthy and look forward to the show as well. Yeah, I'm feeling decent. Feeling not too bad at all. Coming in at number 9 is Kevin V. Clausen. What's going on, buddy? It is the mucus that binds us. Well, yeah, it is unfortunately that time of year again also. And coming in, rounding off the top 10, the first 10, is Gotham City Arcade, buddy. Thank you so much for being here. What a battle. Did you check out the podcast with James Hates Every... I think James hates everything. He may hate every day. I don't know. I mean, I guess if he hates everything, he also hates every day. He had a timeline on what could happen this year. What are your thoughts? Some of the RK1UP timeline, I did catch that. It's when you do speculation streams like that, they're a lot of fun, tying into potential events and saying, hey, listen, if the Olympics is coming, that would be a great time to release track and field, and hey, the Mortal Kombat 2 movie's coming out. It'd be great. It'd be a great tie-in. RK1UP would absolutely be fools if they didn't do that. Some kind of an XL cab or something. But I think a lot of that speculation, unfortunately, is of a company that no longer exists. The company that existed before would have absolutely jumped on that, taken those opportunities to reveal something new, but some of that speculation is off because, unfortunately, when it comes to like X-Men 97, for example, RK1UP did initiate that. That was Disney telling their license holder, RK1UP, to make that cabinet. That's how that went down. It wasn't them begging and pleading and trying to get on board with that. That was Disney telling them to make that. So, and that's what they did. So I think the collaborations with like Kith, that was probably the last one where RK1UP actively sort of sought out a collaboration. Not that I was into the Kith cab. It was probably the better looking, or maybe even the best looking of the collab cabs for sure. This X-Men 97 misses the mark for me, but but that was an edict to sit down from Disney. That was not RK1UP taking the initiative on that one. They just complied, and I think for the most part they did a decent job. It's not horrendous, but it's just not really something I want. And there are some assumptions made that RK1UP really has some licenses that maybe they don't have. So while it's great to talk about that stuff and it's fun, it's just a ton of fun. But I think that's a company that's probably not taking the initiative on a lot of those licenses or jumping on potential collaborations or timelines that are just perfect. Like organizing and having a release of Mortal Kombat when the Mortal Kombat 2 movie comes out that's a great idea. I think it would be great. Same thing with track and field. That'd be a great tie-in. But unfortunately, I just don't think that's the way it's going to go because they're just not thinking like that. I think they're serving at the behest of all the retailers. So it is what it is, but don't worry. I think there's going to be some other players out in the space. Anyway, everybody make sure you vote in the poll question. Make sure you have your drinks standing by. Also, for my members, I'll go ahead and tell everybody at the top of the show before we move on. Tonight, all my members know there's an after show that is members only tonight. I'm going to have on Jay from Unico. He's going to be taking your questions live. So if you're a member, hang out. You're going to be redirected over there, and then you can spend some time with the guy at Unico who's going to hopefully answer some of your questions. I've got some questions for him. It's going to be a great discussion. So members, another perk, another reason to be a member of the channel. Okay, with all that being said, let's go ahead and move on, guys and gals, to the first topic. AtGames Schedule? Question mark. It can be crazy at times. It's one thing when you say you're going to come out with a product, and it's coming. Don't worry, guys, it's coming. But you don't really give that hard timeline, so you're not really beholden to anything, which can definitely work to your advantage, but it also can kind of kill some of the FOMO or some of the hype around your product. Nobody's really looking forward. There's nothing to mark on the calendar because we don't know when it's coming out. But there's also the flip side of that, where you lock yourself down to saying, hey, listen, this is coming out on this date. Wow, that better happen. Now, when you're at home making it yourself, like a birdhouse. Yeah, look, Mom, I made it myself. You can control 100% of that process when it gets out. When you're talking about something that's assembled in another country, and then the global logistics of trying to get that to this country, and then also shipping within this country to get it out to the customers, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And our, AtGames has really taken the brunt of that. They've really had they've stumbled a little bit out of the gate with a couple things, logistics, and then getting some of these products working to perfection, right? Before it actually gets out. So you have some flipper lag on some of the marquee titles, the big, the actual skins of the tables themselves are not functioning properly. Requiring OTG, which is you have to bring your own computer, which is fine if we're talking about a $300 game, perhaps. But if you just spent $1,500 on your 4K and the only way you can really get it to function properly is to bring a computer, seems a little counterproductive. All of a sudden now this $1,500 pinball machine is really not all it's cracked up to be. If it requires another $1,500 PC or $1,000 PC, or even if it's a $500 PC to run the games properly, it just seems a little bit like just a deflating balloon. You get all excited, all kind of falls apart around you. So they've had some of that, but I think that I've been one to kind of highlight some of the damage and some of the issues and all that stuff, but I also want to be the one that sort of highlights some of the positive too. Let's talk about some of the stuff that's coming out this week so far. So as of the 5th April, just a couple days ago, they're letting everybody know, listen, get ready, because the Star Trek, maybe not the Star Trek that you wanted. It's not the Star Trek I wanted. I wanted the original series, or maybe, the Next Generation would have been really cool. But unfortunately, that's just not what we, I'm sorry, my phone thought I was talking to it. Not the Star Trek that I wanted, but it is the Kelvin timeline, the new, and of course now I'm getting a call. I'm on the internets. I can't talk right now. Sorry about that. I got distracted. I'm easily distracted. But the new Star Trek pinballs are coming out, and if you this coincides with the pre-order date. So if you pre-ordered yours on that Wave 1, November 23rd to December 31st, expect your payments to your payment links to be showing up in your inboxes. So that's good, right? I love how they put this. Let's boldly flip where no one has flipped before. Or are we going to flip with lag though? That's the thing, right? But how does this coincide with what they told us was going to happen before, right? I talked about being locked into that specific ship date and arrival date and all that. Jumping on over, you can see that this was, I think this, they posted this probably a month ago, I believe. Maybe a month, maybe a little bit less. And this does coincide with some of the release windows that they stated, payments being shipped out or sent out to customers on the 5th. So, okay, sounds good. But we're also seeing that, so that's good as far as, idealistically speaking, right? Get those emails out there, and then when are they going to arrive? When are they going to ship? Or not when are they going to ship? When are they going to arrive? That's the thing. Who's excited about the Star Trek pinball machine? There's some people that actually bought Dinosaur Dynasty, which I didn't think was a particularly interesting table at all, but some people really dig it. They want that theme. Maybe they already have a theme going on at their house, so they were all about it. And that's great. That's fine. Star Trek, if you like Star Trek, period, you're probably going to be excited about this. Are you going to get it? I don't really know. But if you just like Star Trek overall, you probably want this, right? It's going to be something that you're going to want to have in your man cave, in your arcade for sure. So that's, I think, a good thing. So far, it appears that they have improved and they're hitting some of those targets. So that's good. Now let's talk about something else. Something that has really been, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Now, Killer Instinct is something to be excited about. Nobody really thought that OneUp could pull it off, and though it wasn't perfection at all, I think they, for the most part, pulled it off. Right? They made it happen. To now see this happening again with AtGames is encouraging. Also, the fact that it's going to be on the better board, the 4K board. This is their ultimate 4K, so they're bumping up the processing power. You should be able to see. I think you're going to probably get a better Killer Instinct experience with this cabinet. But this goes back to, what are you into? Now, I think if you're into AtGames, generally speaking, with the exception of their pinball machines, which tend to be pretty accurate, when you're talking about AtGames, you're really pretty much a multicade person. And so certain things are probably not going to bug you. The fact that this is a 16:9 monitor, probably not going to bother you if you're into multicades. That's fine. If you're into more of an arcade accurate representation, you're probably not going to like that aspect ratio. It's going to throw you off. You're going to have borders, left and right. It is what it is. And you can probably live with that. For my multicade people out there, what are you thinking about the shape? Seriously. I mean, what are you really thinking about this? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comment section. If you're watching this on the replay, I want to know what you think about this shape. It's better, quote unquote, than what we saw before. I think the overall shape is better, but this art is killing me. And we're going to talk about artwork in later on in the show also. Different company, artwork also. This is just something that I don't know why people take the chance on artwork. I just don't get it. I don't understand why they do this. If you're going to do something, if you're talking about a cabinet shape, it's like you're all in, right? Because it's the shape of the cabinet. You got to physically build it. But when it comes to artwork, I would err on the side of caution. I would just go minimalistic, plain Jane. I mean, hell, I don't know. Just have the word KI on the side and the cabinet's all black. I mean, go with your chrome T molding if that's what you're kind of known for, I guess. But I don't understand like the lightning and all that. And I can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to meld the two together. And I know that really the one to blame for all this is Michael B. I mean, we know that this is 100% Michael B, the Game Genius design, front to back, cover to cover, top to bottom. He just designed every nanometer of this, all of it. So he is to blame or to praise, depending on if you like it. But yeah, the lightning and but anyway, I guess my point is that like the lightning and the red, you can kind of see they're trying to meld the two games together because the side art was drastically different. I know this because I am in the middle of my own little KI2 project, and it is definitely a different looking cab from the first cab. So it is what it is. It's fine, whatever. But I just don't understand why take the risk on the artwork at all. So let me know what you think about that. And I'll just I'm going to reiterate what others have said in the space on YouTube channels. That coin door is the biggest mistake of the last 5 years. I mean, 10 years. In the home arcade space with these little machines coming out, these little 3/4 variants coming out. That is the worst thing ever. It's absolutely god awful horrible. They should partner with somebody. They should get with a Retro 530 and get his Mobley coin doors and put them on there and call it a day. He can make it for them, and they can have like a little green AtGames on the door there, whatever. But something has got to be done. This is just a travesty. This is sad. This is horrific. It should be done. It's wrong. It's very wrong. So let's talk about something else besides the overall shape and look of the cabinet that I'm not really a fan of. I really would love to see a 4x3 aspect ratio monitor in that. But I will say, for multicade purposes, this monitor's fine. Coming in quarter 2024. So this is interesting, for sure. I think you've got. Am I missing something? I think I am missing something. Anyway, moving on. I'm missing a slide for some reason, guys. I can't believe I did this. One of the main things I did. Oh, that's weird. I missed it. I'll bring it back. Yeah. So coming quarter 4, 2024. Now this is kind of a little bit of a departure because of what they had said previously. But let's look at what they're saying now. This came out 4 days ago because I just pulled this clip. I pulled this image from the internet today, from their Facebook page today. Hey, Legends family, the excitement for the AtGames Legends 4KP has been incredible. Incredible, people. Incredible. And we share your enthusiasm. Originally, we were planning to launch pre-orders early this year, aiming to get those devices out to you by the end of the year. Our new improved plan, it's not their new plan, it's their new and improved plan, is to still aim to deliver machines by the end of 2024, but to skip the pre-order phase and offer it on our e-store when it is in stock. It will be a straight up first come, first serve deal, and an immediate turnaround. No more stress around the long wait to receive your machine. This change is all about making things smoother for you. We hope you will enjoy the new experience. Big thanks for your enthusiasm, patience. We're grateful that we have the passionate community by our side. What do you think about this? I am of two minds of this. I think that it's really going to limit the amount of people that can get their cabinet, because you take the pre-orders, people are locked in, and you don't have to worry about guessing how many you need to have for us to get our cabinets, right? So you do your pre-orders, everybody takes their pre-order, you're locked in, you can rest easy knowing eventually you should be able to get your machine because you pre-ordered it all those weeks or months ago. But I am also a huge fan of, when I order it, it's going to ship in a couple of days because it's already there. It's already a physical thing that exists. We don't have to worry about looking at a render. Is this the right render? Is it different? Did they change the art? Is the shape of the cabinet different? Are they not including this feature or that feature? I like that a lot. I really do. So I think I'm probably going to lean on the side of, wait for it to show up on your website, and then I'll look at what you have, and then I'll just go ahead and just buy it, and I can have it at the house, and away I go. That's the way I feel about this. I think it's probably a better way to go. I think that the pre-order process before was confusing for a lot of people. Not everybody understood what the hell was going on. It was a little bit difficult. So I think this is probably a better way to go about it. It does actually, in a way, kind of cause some headache for the actual manufacturer here in this situation. Like AtGames taking pre-orders knows exactly how many orders they need to fill before anything happens, right? And then they can calculate a little bit of overlap so they can have some more stock. This way, they have no idea. They're going to have to take their best guess, say we're going to produce this many, order this many, whatever it is. It could just be the minimum for the Chinese factory to make them, 500,000, whatever it is, and then see what happens. So, they could greatly underestimate the excitement, and then there's a bunch of people disappointed waiting to get their cabinet. Which could be kind of a good thing. Or they could greatly overestimate the enthusiasm for their product and order a bunch that nobody buys. And then that means that, of course, they're going to be stuck discounting some 4KPs, and maybe they never make another 4KP again because they lost so much money. It could go either way, but I think I tend to sort of lean on, this is probably a good thing. I say go this route. Just get them, have them made, get them in hand, get them in your warehouses in the United States or Canada or wherever you're going to sell these, and then just make them available. Because the process before, I wasn't involved in because I didn't pre-order the 4KP. It seemed like it was a big pain. Like, you got to figure out, okay, so when did I pre-order? Okay, now I'm waiting. So I get my $200. Okay, give that down. Now I got to wait for my email for full payment to show up. Well, when is that going to happen? I'm trying to plan for that. That's a big expense depending on when you pre-ordered. Now you're taking away a lot of that. Just like, hey, we'll let you know when it's on the website and you can buy one. I tend to like it. I did miss a slide though, I think. Let me see. See if I can find it. I can't find it. Is it not there? Where is it at? No, I did. I lost it. They had a really, we'll just talk about it. So another thing they had on their website, on the Facebook page was really funny. It was the roadmap. It was a schedule that they had for all their releases. And so the good part was what I just showed you, right? Okay, this is good. Like, you're going to have your product that's going to be in the warehouse and then it ships to you. But then they had their layout for April, and it was like, hey, here's our layout, and it was a month, and it had like dates, and here's when this software update's going to happen, and here's where this thing is going to come out, and it was dates, and they were all there, right? And then at the top of it, like under the title of the graphic that said April's roadmap, April's schedule, Under that, it said, hey, everything's subject to change and it may not happen. It's just kind of for reference. What? Why did you put this graphic up? Why do you have a calendar with dates and then items on the dates? And then you called it this is a schedule. Well, if it's for reference, what the hell about referencing? So this kind of, for me, it just reiterates the point that, you know what? Let's just do it the old-fashioned way. When you get them, when they arrive in your stores or when they arrive in your warehouses, take an actual picture of the actual product and put that up on your e-store, and there it is. I know exactly what I'm getting, and I know they're going to ship it out in a couple days, and I'll have it. And I know how much it's going to cost and everything. I don't have to worry about losing a deposit or waiting for an email to tell me how much I owe. And if there's a difference in the price, I got to go, I got to call, I got to email, I got to fill out a ticket, all this stuff. Just make it simple. Make it simple. Because the potential $100 you could have maybe saved if you pre-ordered, for me, doesn't seem to be worth all that extra headache. Now, there was a question before. Somebody asked, "Hey Fox, what skin would you have to see before you would jump on, a 4KP?" I said, "Well, kit would be awesome. Knight Rider's sweet. Anything from Universal, like Back to the Future Day One. But there is a current pinball machine that's out right now that I was kind of down on when they announced it, and it's got me thinking." Big thanks to Ryan Beaver for showing this picture on Facebook and the Facebook groups. This is the Attack from Mars, 4KP. That thing looks pretty damn good, guys. I mean, that is not bad. Where I was kind of disappointed that the legs weren't chrome on other tables, for me, on this, it looks really good. That topper looks incredible. I'd still be worried about the shipping issues, making sure that my screen wasn't broken or something. But for me, that's not bad. That looks pretty good. Is it enough to make me pull the trigger? Well, no, because it's already out and I can wait. And yeah, I may have to pay full price, but at least I know exactly what I'm getting. Moving on to some not so great news, but we got to talk about it. It happened this week, and that's the name of the show. Moving on to New Wave Toys. This is something that's been frustrating. Full disclosure, so everybody knows, I did not pre-order Zoltar. I didn't do it. I thought it was kind of cool, but my desk space, and this was, at the time, my desk and shelf space was somewhat limited. Now I have Mega Desk, so I could have fit it in. And so I'm kind of kicking myself a little bit for not having Zoltar, but it is what it is. Maybe, just maybe someday. But this was the latest and greatest from New Wave Toys. It said, good day all. First off, thank all of you for your tremendous patience while waiting for the new mini replica Zoltar fortune teller machine. We've encountered a delay with manufacturing of the new PCB boards, but are happy to report that the replacement PCBs will be delivered to the main factory on April 15th. We're planning to finish final assembly and QC inspection on May 10th. So now we're looking at, May 10th is when hopefully they'll be ready to be put in a box. And then I'm assuming this is taking place in China, so they're coming to the States, and then from the States. So who knows? I mean, we still have a ways to go before we actually get these things in our hands. All the people that actually pre-ordered, right? But this message goes on. I think this is where I tend to, this is why I like New Wave Toys. They say, we totally understand if you're frustrated and tired of waiting. Please email us at customer service, and there's the email right there. You can get a full refund of your original pre-order payment. Otherwise, we're almost at the finish line, so thanks again for sticking with us. We believe it will be worth the wait. They've done good things like this in the past. I know I jumped on the pre-order, the Black Hole Pinball. I pre-ordered that like as soon as it was available. I pre-ordered it because I wanted something to be different in my little arcade diorama. Really wanted that, so I pre-ordered it, and then for some reason they do it this way. 30 minutes later, they came out with an email saying, hey, use this code and save some money. I'm like, dude, what was I thinking? So I actually messaged them and I said, hey, listen, here's my order number. I actually pre-ordered before I even saw you were going to have a coupon code. And they took it off for me. They said, don't worry about it. So they refunded me the cost of the coupon. So I thought that was really cool. They didn't have to do that, but it was the right thing to do. And so it's good to see them doing that. It is unfortunate that we have these delays. Special, once again, Michael B said that the PCB were bad. He said that he knew that at Cleveland Gaming Classic. And he actually he said on the Super Gamer Dudes that he told them. He didn't tell them. He told me separately. He said, I'm just not going to say anything. I said, Mike, why don't you tell them? That's going to suck. You know, this is going to delay the whole process. He said, that's fine. I don't care. I'm just a horrible person. That's what he said. I didn't, he tried to blame Canada. I don't believe it. There's a lot of great Canadian people. So Michael B, once again, I don't know what you're doing, but you're trying to destroy this wonderful community. I think it's just in poor taste. Moving on for more things that are not good at all. So 2 weeks ago, I think we talked about the unfortunate Kickstarter. ThinkUp was coming out with Shuffle Golf, which I wasn't really excited about, but there was a ton of people that actually jumped on board. This thing had 148 backers, $32,000. It only needed 25,000. So it was fully funded, ready to go with a little bit of extra. And then they canceled it. Well, wasn't really sure why, but had some speculation, had some ideas of maybe they need to change this, change that, whatever. Get some of the costs down, maybe even some issue with them using a name that's existed before. And then we found this little bit of news on LinkedIn yesterday. This was forwarded to me by Console Kits, Justin. And this is Jerry Cummings, who's actually seen in that ThinkUp video talking about the Shuffle Golf. And, this is, he was one of his company basically created A1Up, or the actual product that A1Up sold. And this is his message as of a couple of days ago. He said, I'm very sad to say that or ThinkUp, had to lay off 4 of my key people due to the changes in the toy industry and a very unfortunate business matter I needed to reorganize. All 4 of these talented guys were the backbone of my company. I am at a loss of words that they are no longer with me at ThinkUp. These guys are free to work for any company they choose. So I'm assuming there's no, not NDA. What's the word I'm looking for? Non-compete, right? They have no non-compete. So he lists the 4 guys and the impact that they had on his company. And at the bottom, he just says, thank you guys for sharing your hard work and talent at ThinkUp. Some of these guys, I believe it was Mike, was at, 2019 CES, I believe, talking about they were really influential in that Wave 3 design, that shark fin design that some people liked and some people really didn't like. But it just always sucks to see people lose their job. But I think this also speaks to the volatility of the toy market. The fact, we're looking at one piece of the pie, one thing, right? Okay, you had something on Kickstarter, you got it fully funded. Why didn't you just go forward? There's obviously other things going on. The landscape of the toy industry is volatile. It's not like it used to be, where I thought about this the other day. I was walking. It wasn't Walmart. It was a local chain up here in the Cincinnati area. It's called Meyer, and they used to have some of the best toy aisles, And then I just took a walk down one of the toy aisles, and it was just like there's nothing cool. Like everything is just the cheapest version possible. There's very, very rarely do you see some kind of toy that's like, wow, that's really awesome. It used to be several rows of just boy toys. And then you have girl toys, and then there's like the Lego thing, and there was like the Nerf thing, and it was aisle after aisle. And that's just not the case anymore. There's just the profitability is gone. The demand for physical toys is gone. It's all digital. Everybody's online. So it's kind of sad. And we're feeling the impacts, in the home arcade community, probably more so because there's so much more investment, and the price to buy in is so much higher. What does this mean for ThinkUp, though? I don't know. It's a damn shame, because I was really excited about the possibility of ThinkUp getting back into the home arcade space and becoming a legit competitor with OneUp, because that would give us way more options. And that would just be something we desperately need in this space for sure. But does that mean that the competition, the OneUp competition, is totally dead? I don't think so, because I'm still hedging my bets. Because I'm gonna go ahead and coin the phrase. Everybody thinks that John D's working on something. I don't know, but if he is, I'm gonna call it the John D OneUpper. Okay, so let's talk about something else. Let's talk about Arcade1Up. Let's talk about Arcade1Up and what I think they should do. This is something I think they should just do this. They should just listen to me, and everything will be fine. Let me just take off some of these other slides so I can add some more slides, because we got stuff to talk about. As we talk about this stuff, if we talk about Arcade1Up doing this, doing that, what they should do, what they shouldn't do, being able to give us options, being able to give us variety is something that we take for granted. We absolutely take it for granted because we just want, and it just is what it is. I mean, I want what I want. You want what you want, and just give it to me. Give it to me now. Just like this super chat for $6.99. Writes Retrocade coming in $6.99 Canadian. Thank you so much for being here, man. Been a minute. What I missed? You missed a lot, buddy. Thank you so much for being here. And you didn't miss my my Cruising World coming on. It just happens. It just does. Sometimes the audio just plays. I don't know. We're just going to deal with it. Thank you so much for being here, man. I'm glad. I know you've been gone for a little bit, but I'm glad you're back. But unfortunately, you're not going to stay here long. I'm going to have to get rid of you. And it's sad. But you know where you're going? You're going to the pit.
Finish him. Molina wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
And thank you so much to Jason for gifting memberships, 5 memberships. Thank you so much, man. Sir Sega, becoming a new member. Awesome, guys. Thanks. Should be a good conversation later on this evening. So stick around. Stick around. It's going to be awesome. But let's talk about what Arcade1Up should do. Now, I talked about, okay, this is I want what you want. Or no, I want what I want. And you want what you want. And one thing that I think that we've been asking for is some flexibility, some options. You're not going to give us exactly the artwork that we want of the exact game that we want. What about just selling like a cabinet? You just sell us a cabinet and then we'll put a PCB in it, or sell us parts. Just sell us parts and we can build what we want, or just have something on your website that we can build on the website and you ship to us, like a Hasbro Pulse. Basically, we get to design our own cabinets. Well, is that going to happen? Sadly, probably not. So I begin to think about different things. I've already started. I mean, I think the closest thing that they've come to basically a super easy moddable cabinet has really been the newest legacy, and that is the Capcom Street Fighter 2 Dynamo. I'm trying to think of all the ways they describe it. The Street Fighter, the Capcom Legacy Street Fighter 2 Dynamo inspired deluxe cabinet. Yeah, it's a lot. Basically, the new Capcom Deluxe. I've got 2 of them, and they are really cool for modding because they're a great cabinet shape. But it's also because they're basically black. There's just nothing to them as far as side art goes. Now, there's always the marquee. There's always the control panel. It's very Capcom. It's very Capcom, but the Capcom graphite look to it. It's just, you're going to kind of be, if you want to keep it to a minimum, you're going to kind of be stuck with Capcom games, right? But not bad if you have a couple ideas in mind. If you wanted to make this a Punisher cabinet or whatever, if you could swap out a PCB, simple stickers on the side, and away you go. You could even just reskin it to a different game, that's already on that stock PCB from Arcade1Up. If you want a Final Fight cab, away you go. But you still got to, you got to do some stuff on the side. You got to change the marquee, is expensive, and if you don't really like the control panel, you're just kind of stuck. So I think, in my personal opinion, instead of trying to guess, so let's say they come out, I've got another deluxe. You can't see it. It's right here. It's going to turn into the KI2, and it is a Mortal Kombat Deluxe, and it's cut in half right now. I haven't finished assembling it. But, you've got that. It's Mortal Kombat 2. Okay, so what would a variant be? Mortal Kombat 1? Some people say yes. Some people say no. Some people say no because you can't, it's not going to be accurate. We're not going to have Johnny Cage on the side. Why do it at all? Some people are going to say, I want Mortal Kombat 3. Some people say, no, I hate Mortal Kombat 3. Some people are going to say, I want Mortal Kombat 2, but I want that faded original look. I don't like the new super oversaturated look, and you go back and forth. That's just one cabinet, and a lot of people are just not going to be able, you're not going to be able to satisfy everybody. Same thing with like I just said, the deluxe cabinet from Capcom. I want it to be a Final Fight cab, Well, I mean, some people like that, some people don't. And does Arcade1Up want to invest in a second skin that may not sell? What if they, what's the other games on there? What's the worst game on there? Well, they reskin it in that. What are you going to do? Nobody buys it. Here's my suggestion. You can have your standard, your marquee title. You can have your Mortal Kombat 2 skin. You can have your Street Fighter 2 skin. Okay, that's fine. You can have your Pac-Man skin, whatever. But when it comes to that secondary skin, I think people like a little bit of variety. I think people can like the shape, but maybe they're tired of those games and they want to change it up a little bit. I think you should bring back black. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the Black Series. Let me show you a little video. This is something, if you're not aware, this is something that they had back in the day. This was a Black Series. Is it going to play? There it is. This is a Black Series that they came out with. It was really just the head-to-head cabinets. And it did have the games list on it, but for the most part, you can see everything is black. The control panel's black. The buttons are black. The side art is just as black. It just says Capcom on it. You even look at the tabletop, it's mostly black except for the games list that are in the color. And they just call it the Black Series. It's the signature Black Series. I have no idea what that meant, but I thought it looked really good. Now, I actually had one of these. Let me show you. Back in the day, these are two of the varieties they had. I actually had the Capcom version, and I think it looked really good. It wasn't as loud and gaudy as some of the stuff because, especially with these cocktail cabinets, these head-to-heads, you have to remember they have a little bit of flexibility because all these games weren't necessarily made in this form factor back in the day. And when you played these back in the day, usually they just had like wood paneling on the side. They just had like it was a pretty simple side art. There wasn't really much side art to think about, really. They were mostly just black. And then the top is where they would have some kind of an artwork, some kind of something going on, So that was pretty cool. So that was interesting. I liked it, but I think while I like the color scheme, I like the stealth aspect of it, the way that the actual cabinet was constructed, it just took up a little bit too much room. And but it was interesting. The screen was way too small for that. Head-to-head, 17-inch monitor, it's just way too small. But I think that it looks really, really good, really sleek. So there's that. And this is the way they looked back in the day, right? Pretty minimalistic. You just had simple branding on the side. You had the little chevrons or whatever on top and bottom pointed. So I think it was sort of a clean look. It wasn't the only version out there. They had the original versions that had all the other side art, and they had, I think the Capcom version had all like that Capcom graphite up top and the speckled gray and black, and it was all loud and it was all crazy. And you could absolutely have that if you wanted. That was there. But you could also have these. And I thought these were very clean, very slick, and you could do whatever you wanted, That's the benefit of this, right? You could have this, and it's not really necessarily branded as Street Fighter 2. Or, if they had a Mortal Kombat edition, it's not necessarily branded as Mortal Kombat. Even the Pac-Man, while the logo on the side is yellow and it really stands out, you could easily cover that up with something, and that doesn't necessarily mean that is a Pac-Man machine. Of course, it's kind of hard to cover up the Pac-Man, just the fact that it's yellow, right? So, but that is what I liked about this. I really dug it. Now, they haven't completely given up on the black, because they are currently doing it right now. This is what it looks like now. So it's not the signature series. It's not the signature Black Series. But when you type it in, when you look at what they're coming out with as far as black, this is it. The Black Series, the head. I mean, the black branding really isn't on it. And this is not what I'm talking about. This is, listen, if you bought this for Pac-Man, you're good. It's all about the Pac-Man, baby. Look at that. But it is gaudy and it's yellow and it's black, but it's also yellow. It's very, very yellow. So this is not necessarily what, I'm wanting to see, because I think that is just more of the same, right? And this is what I don't get. I talked about this before with AtGames and their Killer Instinct artwork. I don't know why they lean so hard on that artwork. Like, why do you take a chance if you're not going to do something that is an accurate representation of what happened before? Like, if you're not trying to accurately recreate a cabinet from back in the day, I mean, art style, shape, and everything. If you're going to make a departure, why go this far with it? And even this isn't as terrible as, honestly, this is not near as bad as that 4KP. It's just not. The KI 4K just looks horrible. So this, by comparison, isn't quite as bad. But I still don't understand why you would take a chance. If you want to do something, if you want to have a different skin, you don't do this. You don't do this at all. Now, another component of all this is that we wanted something we could kind of make our own. Like, build something like Build a Bear, but build an arcade, or just have something totally just devoid, stripped of everything. No PCB, just a cabinet that's black with a monitor and controls, and that's it. But even that is not necessarily easy to pull off. First off, if you sell something without a PCB, that's a tough sell. That's really a tough sell. And if you don't have a PCB, then how do you decide what controls you include in this cabinet? Just 6-button fighter? I guess that's fine. That works for a lot. But if I wanted to put Mortal Kombat PCB in this, it does me no good if I've got a 6-button, traditional 6-button layout. It's not going to work. So there's a lot of ways you could kind of screw that up. So I can see why this would be the better way to go. And especially when you consider what they actually have now. If you go to their website, if you're talking about parts and pieces, if you want to shop around and build something, you can't do it. I mean, you really can't. It's not like you can buy a bar top and buy a base and put them together. It's not like you can buy just a cabinet, naked cabinet. You can't even really buy monitors anymore. This is pretty much it. You get just bits and pieces and parts and random stuff. So they don't have a robust store. Now, it's not that they couldn't really flesh this out and really have some parts, but would that be worth it? Would that be something that, you would buy? Would you sit here and piecemeal this one at a time, try to build something and put something together? Who knows how much that would cost? It might even actually cost you more at the end of the day. So I think that this is the way, I think this is what they should think about reintroducing. Okay, you have your primary skin, and this is the way I think it should be. We're talking about legacy cabs, the 4 legacy deluxes that are out right now. You have those standard skins. That's just what they are, right? You've got those. And if you think, and for every legacy, you can have one alternate skin, and it is the Black Series, the signature Black Series. It is just this, but in an upright. Very minimalistic, black control panel, black buttons, black everything. And then let us build it to be whatever we want it to be. So if you like, and this is really going to depend on the shape of the cabinet. So if you like that midway shape, go ahead and get the Mortal Kombat Black Edition. And you can build it from there. You can keep parts of it black. The control panel, you can just leave all black if you wanted, and then just worry about your side art. Or buy a marquee and away you go. If they were smart, OneUp could do this, and they could just have parts over here, and they could just sell individual marquees, because the way they're made now, I pulled this up before, you could buy it, and it could just come with a black marquee. And then you have to buy whatever marquee you want. So it can be marquees for their games or whatever. It could be Mortal Kombat, could be Street Fighter, whatever. And you just buy the marquee and you can slip it in. Or maybe it'll come with Mortal Kombat or whatever, and then you can swap that out later. Make the parts available for us. It just makes sense. And you're not taking a big risk by doing something that maybe nobody wants. So I think the Black Series is something that they used. Was it successful? I don't really know. We don't know what the sales numbers are, but I think that it could be a viable option for something moving forward. OneUp could make something that's a little more for the user to upgrade, for the user to customize, to make as gaudy and elaborate as they want. Because some people don't like my little Alien versus Predator and my Marvel versus Capcom 2 cabinets because the side art's just small. Well, that's how they were back in the day. Originally, it was just a small, rectangle. They stuck on the side of like a Dynamo cabinet, and away you went. They didn't have a lot of elaborate side art on the Dynamo cabinets. So they would want a larger graphic. Well, they could do that. Give them a black cabinet. Fine. They can do whatever they want. They can go large, or you can just go with something small, or you can just leave the sides black and not worry about it and just focus on a badass control panel and a great marquee, and you're done. Upgrade those buttons if you want. If you want a multicade, but you like that 4:3 aspect ratio, here you go. It's just black. And then in the marquee could just say MAME. If they just sell a whatever blank marquee, you can put whatever you want in it. I think that this is the way that they could absolutely go. It would look, they could sell it as this is like a clean, tasteful sort of addition to your arcade. Maybe if you don't want a bunch of gaudy colors, which, if you're an arcade fan, you do want gaudy colors. That's what we want. We want this wild, crazy style. But if you don't want that, if you want something a little bit different, this is the way to go. I think this is a positive thing that you could do to give people an option without having to commit. They don't have to commit to much. They just have to make the same cabinet, but all black. That's it. Now, this could be something, maybe it's on the website. but they haven't done a lot on the website, with the exception of just a few cabinets direct to consumer from their website. KI Pro comes to mind. Most of all the other cabinets, you have to go to another retailer, Amazon, whoever. So they could partner with, this could be this series, this Black Series, the Signature Series, could be an exclusive to Best Buy or Amazon or Shop Hippo or whoever. It doesn't have to be made available for everybody. But I think this is a way that you could kind of give us what we want. We complain, I know I do, about Arcade OneUp and what they're doing a lot. The way that they limit us, the way that they limit the releases. And I do honestly think we're at this point where if we want to buy these, if we want what we want, we're gonna have to buy these cabinets and modify them, change them to make them look a certain way, swap out PCBs and all that. That would make my life a lot easier if they were all just black cabinets. And then I could add whatever artwork I want. I could also just live with certain things. For example, the bezels on these Arcade OneUps. If they're just black, like the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 bezel is just black, that's perfect. I can use that for any cabinet. I don't have to get bezel artwork. I don't have to cover up existing bezel artwork, which that's really the big problem I'm having now with the Capcom Deluxes. They're almost perfect. If they just had a black bezel, everything would be fine. Now, when I did my swap with Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I was able to just reuse that black bezel from my Marvel vs. Capcom 2, throw it in there, and everything was fine. But if they could do that from the factory, they could do that stock, just make a black cabinet and allow us to add whatever we want down the road. I mean, listen, most of us are swapping out buttons anyway. So if we're going to do that anyway. So who cares if they're all black? If all these buttons are black, I don't care. I'm throwing them away anyway. I'm going to go wherever, DIY Retro Arcade, and get some different buttons, and away I go. So I think this is, if they feel like they need another SKU, if they feel like they need another version of the cabinet, bring back black. That should be a hashtag. Just bring back the Black Series. Everybody would be, I think it'd be a good thing. You can, and remember, with these alternate schemes, these color schemes, these SKUs, whatever, you can just take them or leave them. You don't have to buy them all. And some people would really dig the Black Series and maybe just have Black Series cabinets. And I think it would be, if you were concerned about the look of a cabinet, if you have it in a main space in your house, and maybe your wife is a little concerned, she doesn't really want you to get something that's loud and gaudy and a bunch of goofy colors. If it's just sort of sleek and black and sitting in a corner, maybe she'd be a little up to it. Or maybe if you have very discerning tastes and you have to have a specific look and you want things nice and neat. And if you've got, listen, AC/DC cab, absolutely. If you've got the AC/DC going on in your man cave, maybe this will fit in perfect. Maybe listen, if it's a black cab, you can skin it however you want. It doesn't matter. But I think if we're talking about secondary cabinets, secondary SKUs, that's the way to go. Brobashan 2084 says, solid idea. I'm making a Williams multicade using an Arcade OneUp right now, and it was not fun to paint. If you have because if you think about T-molding, the color of your T-molding will influence your decision greatly. If you've just got black T-molding, you can pretty much make any cabinet you want. I am making a Killer Instinct 2 cabinet out of my my Mortal Kombat 2 cabinet because of the red T-molding. I couldn't make a KI1, which I think I was leaning towards that, but you really can't make a KI1 cabinet with red T-molding. I'd have to change the T-molding. Now you can paint the T-molding that's on it, and it's really more like edge banding. It's not T-molding. You have to put it on and heat up with an iron. I could change it, but that's expensive because you got to peel that off and you got to find you can use tape, but how well is tape going to stick, So things like T-molding color have decided my projects for me. If it was a certain color, I didn't even bother because I didn't want that hassle to be there, because I knew I still had to change the artwork on the side anyway. So if I had a solid black cabinet as my base, as my starting point, I could make it I could elaborate. I can make whatever I want. I say whatever I want. You're still you're sort of stuck with the form factor, right? You're stuck with that. You're stuck with the 17-inch monitor and all that. But okay, here we go. Yeah. A lot of cabinets back in the day had no side art. The Dynamos that I played back in the day, I had a Street Fighter 2. It just had one little mini poster stuck on the side. And that's basically what I did with my recreations over here. My Alien vs. Predator, my Marvel vs. Capcom. It's just a 12-inch by 15-inch little poster I stuck on the side. That's how they were back in the day, because they just threw these games in these dynamo cabinets. They were made for most of the games. That's how they did it back in the day. And if you've been in arcades, you know the look, and the look is specific, and it's also cheaper. It's so much cheaper to do that. If I'm telling you, if I had a black bezel, I would be so happy. If these, like right now, I got to worry about the Mortal Kombat on the bezel on my MK2 Deluxe. I got to worry about that. How do I do that? Do I buy just black vinyl? But then you got to cut out the square, the rectangle for the monitor, so you can see it. And you got to make sure like hell that's lined up right. It's a pain. It's a pain, absolutely. Hey, Becky, great to see you. How you doing? My brother in the chat, what's going on? Telling you the words of wisdom, smash the like button. It's the right thing to do. Don't paint your cab, use vinyl. Absolutely. The problem I've had too, guys, when I do my modifications, I noticed this on my second generation MK. Mortal Kombat 2, second generation, they didn't use vinyl. They used paper-backed stickers. So what happens is, as that begins to delaminate, which it will, like if you try to put vinyl on top of that paper-backed sticker, is all it was. It was just sad, really. If you put the vinyl on top of that and then you pull the vinyl to try to reposition, if you maybe made a mistake, which I've done, if you pull that, you're gonna separate that, and it's never gonna stick, and so you're gonna have a piece that's just gonna be flopping around because you got that stupid paper adhesive barrier, that layer, and it just absolutely it'll ruin the look of the project. And if you got OCD at all, it'll kill you. It drives me nuts. So it's always better to use vinyl. But in some cases, if you've got some damage or some of that stuff, like we're talking, you may have to paint. You may have to paint it. I've seen where people have actually painted the T-molding or the edge banding, I guess, and then applied the vinyl on top of that. Not on top of the paint, but on top of the actual side. So it is what it is. There's different techniques out there, but for me, that's if I had just a black cabinet to start with, man, it would make my life so simple. It would just be so sweet. And then, like I said, you just add what you want to add. Fox, you get a 20-inch monitor upgrade from Buy Stuff Arcades and have them include a black belt. Well, yeah, it's true. I've looked at the 19-inch upgrade. Now, Buy Stuff has a great option. I need to get one. I'm going to get one eventually. I need to go to Buy Stuff Arcade. I need to get the one for the T2, because my T2 cabinet I love, but that 17-inch monitor is just a little too small. They have a 19-inch kit. It's already mounted on a piece of MDF. So it's already there. It's got the LVDS connection. So it's basically just a PCB swap onto their new monitor. And you can pick whatever bezel you want. Solid black, or you can get it themed for the game you're putting it in. In our case, it would just be black. But if you're talking about the best way to get started, if you want to have just a lump of clay, right, that you could turn into anything you want, a solid black cabinet would absolutely be the way to go. At least, in my humble opinion. Oh, would you look at that?
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
Unfortunately, it is that time once again to go ahead and wrap this thing up. But before we do, let's talk about the poll question. I was having fun this week. Come on. What do you think? 114 votes. Good job, guys. Appreciate everybody taking the time to vote in the poll. What do you think is going to happen first? AtGames Killer Instinct 4KP is going to ship, or New Wave Toys Zoltar is going to ship, or RK1UP releases a new game? Well, it's actually a lot closer than you think. I thought that RK1UP would have been left in the dust. Let's go ahead and end the poll right now. And let's go with a whopping, in dead last, is RK1UP releasing? So the majority of you don't think that that's going to happen, at least first. But 30% of you did think that RK1UP was actually going to come out with something before these other two things happen, which means you're thinking RK1UP is going to come out with something new, a new game, not a new product, a new game this year. God bless you. But coming in at number one, what do you think is actually going to happen first? I think cooler heads have prevailed, and I think we know 35% of you said New Wave Toys, the Zoltar is going to ship. It's going to ship. It's going to ship when they said May, so probably May. June is probably going to ship. So June, July, I would assume. I don't know. I don't have any firsthand knowledge, but I would assume it's safe to say you're probably going to have those things ship in June or July. So we should have those this summer, well before the Killer Instinct 4K comes out from AtGames. and I think well before RK1Up comes out with a new game. Members, stay right where you are. You're going to be redirected to the after show. Everybody who isn't a member, we have a after show every single week. This is a special one. We're going to have a special guest. We're going to have Jay, the CTO from Unico, answering our questions live. It's just going to be 45 minutes of us just talking and answering questions. If you want to become a member, if you're on PC, just hit that join button right now. Become a member. It's only $5 a month, and you get all kind of cool perks like this. Anyway, everybody, I am going to be out of the country. Tuesday, I leave Tuesday morning early. I am leaving for Taiwan. They did have an earthquake. It didn't hit the city I'm going to, so I'm assuming, I've been assured, everything is just fine. What could possibly go wrong? But we are going to continue the shows. I'm going to be 12 hours ahead of you, so I don't know when the shows are going to happen, but the shows will happen. You'll probably just catch them on the replay, but we're going to keep this train going, and I'm going to try to comment on everything as soon as I hear about it, because I'm assuming, they do have internet in Taiwan. Anyway, everybody, be safe this week. Don't work too hard. I'll see you all back here next week. And let me go ahead and hit that button. And yeah, I'll see all of you next time. Peace.